afternoon, delegates. The chairman of today's session, Mr. Pajia, and Mr. Sunil Jain. I would like not to repeat what has been said. So, first I would like to give my background. From the age of 22nd till 34 years, I was in the Haryana State Electricity Board. So I feel very comfortable when we are talking about power. And when I was in the State Electricity Board, there were no regulator. We were only knowing one chief electrical inspector. There used to be one sales manual. You have to make a bill, you have to make a tariff. The SDO was the king in the city. All the cinema halls were under your control, and we were not listening to anybody. So it was the authority. And then came in 2003, we were only used to hear Indian Electricity Act 1948, Indian Electricity Rules 1956, and Monopoly Act. If there was by mistake somebody has put up a generator and he has not taken the license, then all the line super and junior engineers will be after his blood, and they will say, you didn't have the license. Either he will have to give the money or he will have to get it disconnected. So what I mean to say, we have been in a very tough regulation. Then in 2003, Indian Electricity Act got regulated. Parliament passed the act. The private parties also came. The type of energy available was conventional. We talk about thermal. So those who are in thermal, they don't like hydro. Those who are in hydro, they have no sense of the coal, how much damage it can do. Then now is a new thing has come, which is the solar. So but solar has also got two components, photovoltaic as well as thermal. Now the reason why I want to talk very clearly, the targets are so heavy, 100 gigawatt in next 5 years. Technology, this forum is also for the technology, and I am a technologist. I would like to just talk out of the box. What other countries have done, what tariff they have applied, what regulation they have done, but they have brought something good. When we start anything, a free energy, sun is free, golden bank of God. Every day, the energy is coming free. Still today, all the industries are closed. Everybody is either bleeding or weeping. Where is something has gone wrong? Who are the regulators? Who are the policy makers? Why it has happened? Why we could not take the free prasada of God, which is an electromagnetic waves, free energy coming from millions of kilometers down on the earth, and still we are bleeding. Nobody is finding a solution because we are not taking a holistic view, what we should do. And today's my presentation is, it was not, I need to talk, but I am talking because this is the most driest ever subject. It's not my subject. I'm a technologist. But this is the most problematic subject. And we should just go into that. I don't want to just waste your time about my company. By the way, I did my master's from Norway in 1979-80 on power systems. And I was also a power controller in the Haryana state. And I did power electronics masters, and I am completing my doctorate maybe next year in solar. So, because beggars can't be choosers, I got a UNDP fellowship when I was in service. I was SDO and I did some research. What is the quantity required for paddies and what type of crop, how much water is required. In the interview, this helped me. I was the only person to be selected out of India in 79 Lurad fellowship. So, the purpose is just to share that I am a technologist, I know it, I have done almost 35 villages electrified, I did 5 megawatt solar farms also, I have ran the as a executive engineer, as a STO, worked in many field power distribution. So how we should handle it and how we should solve it. I won't go by the convention. Firstly, my experience, if you put 20 kilowatt of power in a village, 3-phase, then you can solve many problems of the village. I did in Jargaon, besides another 34, and I brought money from Norway just to create a business and to prove that power from the sun can be uninterrupted 24 hours and it can be very well maintained also. And under the Indian Electricity Act of 2003, there is a provision of Village Electrification Committee. They can maintain it, they can run it, they can collect the money. So 20 kilowatt per village. And we have got almost 600,000 plus villages. One village in Jargaon, in Jharkhand, Gumla district, was full of Naxals. This village was given to me in a fight in one of the planes I had with one of the lady who was sitting next to me, and I was flying from Delhi to Bangalore. And when I wanted to sit down, she was a bit rude. But when I sat down and I didn't talk, she asked me, "Are you a IAS officer or are you a businessman?" So I kept mum. She said, "It doesn't matter. One is chore and other is corrupt." So this hurt me very badly because I left my job in 87 in one of the agitations. So I had been a very honest officer and I am a very honest industrialist also. So I told her, "Madam, if you are thinking that way, it cannot be possible without you. And you must be politician." And I asked her, she said, "How do you know? You must be knowing." I said, "I don't know what you are, but I know you are a respected old lady and you must be member parliament and definitely not in the Lok Sabha. Lower house, you must be in Rajya Sabha." She said, "Oh, yes, I am Rajya Sabha member parliament." Her name was Madam Rebello. And she was quite tough. She was from Congress. She was from Jharkhand. And she said, "आप क्या करते हैं बाद में?" I said, "मैं ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में विद्युतीकरण करता हूँ सौर ऊर्जा से." So she said, "I didn't get anything, but I translated in English." Then the whole of the fight was going on and people were enjoying when we were fighting. Ultimately, she became a friend and she challenged me, "Can you do one village also like you have said you have done in many places for me?" And she gave me this village, Jargaon. It was Naxal affected, badly affected village, and I promised that I will complete that job in 1 month because we were doing in Jharkhand under the Norwegian project another 12 villages. So we surveyed it. We found there was a abandoned one 20 horsepower pump was lying there. There was a sump. So we decided that for this village we will create an ideal situation. We took the installations for 20 kilowatt. We did it for the community center, for the school. Then we tested the water. There was a lot of fluoride in that. 10% of the children were sick there. So we put RO filter plant. Then there was people were traveling 10 kilometer to 15 kilometer for atta chakki and for rice. So we put atta chakki and rice also. And the whole electrification for the street lights, GSM tower, and plus all the households. So this was the work we did, and that I spent more than 1 crore there. And that is a village where uninterrupted supply even today is going on. But the good thing which we could do is that I recruited 5 boys and 2 were the diploma holders from the same village, and they are maintaining that. And they are on my rolls. Whenever I get any business to do the electrification, we call them. But because of the communication setup and because of the street light, in the night, the Naxal leaders who used to come there, they stopped coming there. So my conclusion is, in sun versus gun, sun can be used to win over the Naxal problem. And now, if we can do in all 600,000 villages, and you give 20 kilowatt, I can tell you if I can do one village in 1 month, you do it in 6 months, but you can create so many teams, the EPC, the young teams, the boys, train them, involve the polytechnic guys, In 1 year, this 600,000 villages can have 20 kilowatt. Immediately attached to them, you will get 12 gigawatt. And this 12 gigawatt is equivalent to 17 gigawatt, which transmission line is coming from all the way, from miles and miles, losing 20-25% of the transmission and commercial losses. So this is where we have to think out of the box. And this can be done. And I am very sure. But either you fight with the politician or you make a friend with them. Without politician, it cannot be done. This business is an amalgamation of policy, technology, and finance. All the three things are needed. So the policymakers today in this program, they must make the regulation, and I am showing some of the other countries. I don't talk about on the regulation, the RPOs and other things. Already Sunilji have spoken a lot. But I would like to see what is the regulations and tariffs in other countries. So these are some RPO targets. This is how REC works. Now, Germany did 1 million developers to set up almost 38 gigawatt in their country in 10 years. Why we give only 100 people or 200 or 300 people that not less than 5 megawatt and up to 100 megawatt you do only the solar farming? Why we only need to help the 500 people? Why not you allow the 10 million Indians with their roofs with 10 to 20 kilowatt each with the feed-in tariff? And you can see, you can have more than 100 gigawatt on that. Just 10 kilowatt with 10 million people, everybody put on their rooftop, maximum 10 kilowatt, you will achieve the target. Why not? What the Germans did? Germans did 30-40 gigawatt, but if you see the percentage, 71% they put on the rooftop. And there is a very valuable land. There is a food security issue. Why not to think on that? And number two, Germans started a tariff almost 40 euro cent plus in 2001, and they wanted to reduce by 10% every year. There was no reverse bidding. They told everybody, come on, put on your roof. Only thing is you have to conduct a load flow studies, whether the power will flow from your house to the grid, and only that also on the LT side. This is a technological problem. The Indian Central Electricity Authority did not have the technical bandwidth, and bureaucracy did not have the courage to implement feed-in tariff at the rooftop. And that was the problem. They wanted to implement 20 gigawatt in next up to 2022, but in the last 3-4 years, they could not add even more than 2 gigawatt under Jawaharlal Nehru mission because of these policies. They will first announce that this is our RFS. Please come and put up some solar farms. Everybody will come. But say there are 30 vacancies for 300 megawatt, 10 megawatt each. 3,000 people will come. Our officers will be in trouble. Whom to give and whom not to give? I must compliment the Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, who has calculated 17 rupees 19 paisa when they started the Jawaharlal Nehru mission, which was even less than half of what the Germany was giving. But 17 rupees 95 paisa became just 7 rupees in 3 years, or less than that. Why? Because they called the reverse bidding. Sir, I want to ask from you, you are a regulator. When you fix up a tariff under the regulation, you take everything into account. How much cost, what is to be added, then what tariff has been fixed. When all cost was taken, when it was almost 20 to 25 crores per megawatt, and you calculated 17 rupees 95 paisa. And in the reverse bidding, you made it 10 rupees or 12 rupees. What authority the reverse bidders have to lower the tariff? Then where is the regulator? The tariff has to be fixed by the regulator, not by the reverse bidder. This thing I could not understand. But because some decision makers, they cannot allot the forms at 70 rupees 95 paisa, they devised a methodology. Let us go for reverse bidding. And that has killed. And that is the root cause of today, that this solar industry, solar farms, everybody involved in solar business is sick. And that is the reason. The regulators, the authorities that be, they have to understand free energy. You have replaced coal, you have replaced oil. Still you are weeping? Something is wrong. What is wrong? Policy is wrong. Technology is there, finance is there. Only policy need to be set. Okay, so Germany has adopted the rooftop 71%. You also adopt maybe 70%. You do the survey, how many people are having good roofs and who wants to come forward, give a one tariff to them, let them install it, and you can achieve. The villages, CSR, government, others, Gaon, Yojana, anything, Prime Minister Road or Prime Minister Sinchai Yojana, that can be used for infrastructure, but in 5 years you can achieve it. So this was the Germans. Then there was USA. USA are still better than us. They have also achieved more, at least they have put up 31% of anti-dumping duty on Chinese. In India, we have no courage even to put the anti-dumping duty. Who will take the decision? Who will take a call? If you don't have the manufacturing, you will not have the jobs, you will have no R&D. Why you have got so many universities? If there is no manufacturing, why we are giving education? So we have to see, we have got this free energy can be converted in creation of the jobs. And I tell you, after doing the electrification of 35 villages, now I have adopted one village in which I am setting up an electronic industry for making small panel of 4 watt, which is used along with the lanterns. So 4 watt cell needed to be cut into 24 pieces and then need to be soldered to create a 12 volts. This cannot be done on the machine. This can be done only by the women in the villages or in the cities by giving them a skill how to do the soldering. So every village can have a cottage industry with the solar. If this government could not give the big industry a boost, at least we can give a boost to the cottage industry. Then you have the LED, you have the drivers, you do the soldering in the villages, make these LED lamps. The final assembly can be done with the industry. They can subcontract it to the villages for the intermediate soldering part. And then it is an endless story. In this, every village needs the LED lamps. Every house needs the LED lamps. It will never stop. You can export. The whole country will be busy with electronics and solar putting together and skill developed. Why to develop the skill? First, to create the jobs. You have the slot, give them the training in the same villages, then you go for the big modules also. If every village makes their own modules, you can make your own electricity. The rest part of the inverters, I am a power electronics guy, you can develop inverters for hybrid, for off-grid, for charge controllers and anything. There is another scope. Then in the third stage, when a village becomes a town in 5 years, you also put up some other industries, food processing industries. So regulators need to do the thing. There is a policy needed, do it there. We don't need the ghisi-pitti policies. Now people say, because all the, with due respect sir, all the regulators or the power controllers, he knows the load dispatching. क्योंकि 30 साल पहले load dispatching का एक issue था. भाई solar doesn't tell you when the sun will be shining and wind doesn't tell when it is coming. You ask a developer or a guy at what time what power you will give. It God knows only. So what is the solution? There is a solution. You store the energy into the battery. And between 6 to 10 p.m. in the night, we are shortfall of 18 to 20%. आपको 40 गीगावाट की आवश्यकता है. All these solar farms, जो बड़े-बड़े हैं, bring them into the batteries. And people will say technology is not available. It is not true. Now vanadium red oxide battery, 25 years life is available. But cost will be more. If cost is more, then regulator should decide. that between 6 and 10 if somebody sells the electricity and that is from solar, we will give him 20 rupees. Then your grid is not unstable. You have also get rid of the problems of load dispatching क्या होती है, कितने बजे कितनी power दोगे, तो make it the policy like that. So you have to do like that. Anyway, Korea has also been very successful. I will leave this project. They say if you are making more than 500 megawatt electricity from oil, from coal, you have to pay 1% with the increase every year. You have to produce the renewable energy. And I propose that 10% is the auxiliary load almost of the thermal plants. Why you use your own electricity made from the coal? In all the thermal plants, produce the electricity for auxiliary load from the PV and use it for thermal plant. So automatically it is RGO. It is renewable generation obligation. Either you will produce or you buy the REC. Like Mr. Sunil said, that it should be a legal instrument. So let it be REC given and it can be traded and then it should be honored. And you see how this business grows. There is one more country, very small, Turkey. In 5 years, Turkey has grown the more than 50% growth rate in the industry, just with one tariff change. They said, here is a tender, and now the tender with for solar, the tariff has come 7 rupees. But if you will use made in Turkey products, you will be given 10% more tariff. We should also do it. That in India, if the tariff in the tender is in the end coming 6 rupees 99 paisa butter price, or it is coming 7 rupees, then anybody who will use a developer but use the made in India modules, made in India cells are used, or inverters made in India used, he will given 10 or 15% extra tariff. Then what will happen? Everybody would like to buy Indian and there will be a big rush of putting up more industries and automatically manufacturing will grow. So by this policy, you can help the industry. By this policy, you can outwit the WTO. By this policy, you can also avoid the China versus India issue. And this must be noted, sir. Okay. So just I sum up in 5 lines. I think people don't like my lecture normally because when you talk frank, then the people think that who is he? But I am the Vice President of Solar Energy Society of India. I am not talking individual. This is a considered opinion of our society. We have given in writing all these things which I have spoken to the ministry. And we have got a detailed debate and discussion. We have given 2 more points, sir. All these substations, they should be used. I have surveyed 150 megawatt can be added in 1 year by Punjab because all substations have got a lot of 750 acre land lying with them. Similarly, I studied in Haryana. Each 220 kV substation has got 20 to 30 acre of land lying free. You just put 5 megawatt there from solar, give the rural feeder during daytime. And just you have to need 1 transformer and make it to 11 kV. And these are the few of the things which we have given and our suggestions. Now, in the end, I will say reverse bidding policy should be relooked. Additional tariff for use of the made in India modules and inverters should be given on a Turkey model. Make 10% instead of RPO, name it RGO. Mandatory to produce REC. Compulsory for all the GSM towers at least 10 kilowatt solar installation. Harnessing about 5 gigawatt solar power can be added. For stability of grid, renewable energy need to be stored for making it available during the peak hours. Developers should be given an enhanced tariff. Now the last, and which is a social, and I will request the regulators, we should also see what the Germans did to help the poor people who had no work for them and they were the old people. And India will also fall one day. When senior citizens are there, they can rent out their home and the rooftop of the house remains utilized most of the time. Then what is happening? So 10 kilowatt up to, if the roof is very big, so it is costing say around 15 lakhs, then bank finance is given 100%. So 50%, whatsoever every month the revenue comes, the banks takes into their account, 50% is given to the couple. And he is getting 500 to 1000 euro in Germany out of that. So you are doing a social scheme. Instead of pension, the pension money can be used for rooftop and the pension is automatically given to that couple. So then half of the revenue generated goes to them. I suggest this should work like that. Tamso ma Jyotirgamaya.